Okay, it says we're live. Welcome everyone to my live stream with Nicole Elisa on what to do if a man is emotionally unavailable or breadcrumbing you or acting hot and cold or inconsistent or maybe even ghosting you or full on pulling away. So welcome, Nicole. Thank you so much. I know you're just an expert on this topic and I can't wait to dive in with you today.
Thank you so much for having me, Helena. I'm really fired up to talk about this topic today. You have no idea.
Amazing. I'm just checking to make sure everything's working. And if you guys can, if anyone watching can just type into the chat that you can see us and everything, that would be fantastic. I know some people are watching, so I'm always a little nervous when we start these because I'm not sure if everything's working okay, but everything seems okay to me. So Nicole, for those of you who don't know, Nicole is a transformational love coach who helps women really own their worthiness and irresistibility from the inside out so they can stop attracting emotionally unavailable men and really call in that man who's truly right for them. So Nicole, I know you've been working on some new material and we definitely wanted to share it with my audience here first before anywhere else. So I'm very excited. What's the first thing you have to say about, men who are breadcrumbing or hot and cold or emotionally unavailable? I know this is a huge problem we see in so many women who come to us for advice. They feel attached to these men, right? So what's the first thing you have to say on this topic?
Yes, the reason why I wanted to talk about this topic is because I personally, I believe that it's a topic that we need to talk about it a lot to really understand what's going on underneath the surface. Because it's a topic of people who are being emotionally unavailable, I believe that it's important for us to really look on the inside. Like, for example, if you are dating emotionally unavailable men, or you're frustrated because all the men that you're interacting with, they seem unavailable, they feel like they're not ready for you, they communicate that, or they're hot and cold, instead of just getting frustrated and say, okay, this is just how the dating scene is, and start to lose hope, I wanted to help you see 4 ways in which you could be, you're attracting unavailable men by something that you're doing on an inside level so that you know how to change it. And why is that? Because it's not just what's going on the dating scene, regardless of whether there's unavailable men out there dating. You always have the power to attract something different. But if you start to feel disempowered and frustrated about it, or you're still like running along with it, there's something that really needs to be addressed. So I wanted to talk about like those 4 sneaky ways in which I see women might be attracting that sort of thing. And it's really powerful because if we think about who an emotionally unavailable person is a person that's emotionally unavailable to themselves, to a reality, to a feeling. Maybe they're not feeling good enough, they're not feeling worthy, I know a lot of men who feel like they're not good enough until they have achieved a certain level of success, and they shut down, and their identity and their self-worth is attached to external things, and that makes them shut down. That's one thing. But the thing is, it's also important to look on our side of the street to see and figure out, like, what is it that we're doing that makes us connect with these type of men or actually stay there. So the first thing that I wanted to say that could have a woman attract unavailable men is when she, deep on her inside, she has a belief where she's like seeking approval from men, right? Or embodying an energy of proving her worth. Like, she doesn't feel like she needs to receive something on the outside, and because she doesn't feel like she has it on the inside fully, then she attracts men who don't give it to her, because that's ultimately the feeling that she has on the inside.
Oh yeah, I can totally relate to that in my past. Oh my gosh, that just resonates with me at such a deep level. And it's not something I was consciously aware of at the time. And I know so many women who are going through something similar right now, my clients and women who come and watch our videos. It's almost like, if I can get this man to jump over all these obstacles and give me the love I want, or commit to me when that's not something he really wants himself, then I'll be lovable. Then I'll be worthwhile. It's almost like we're looking to this man on a very deep kind of subconscious level to show us or make us feel worthy or lovable, right?
Yes, 100%. And that's why I wanted to say the word deep, because these are super unconscious things. And I find that if you really start to pay attention to your language and to the way you're communicating things, you might even notice that you say the phrase. And when you say it like, oh, I just want him to notice me so that then I can feel worthy, or then I can feel good enough, then that is the energy that you need to address. That should be the thing that you be working on, feeling good enough, feeling worthy just as you are, and removing this energy of proving. There's another way in which this energy of proving shows up that I find very subtle, but it's interesting. When women really, they used to identify their value based on what they would achieve in regards to their career and their titles, etc. So they have a different energy of proving. Like they're looking to achieve things to prove, but they're not owning that they're just worthy just because. And in that space, they might attract somebody that doesn't really see them or value them or feels intimidated by them, but they're not necessarily connecting because they need to really connect with their worth on the inside, just as they are.
I love that. I mean, that's truly the key. That's truly the key to attracting either, attracting something different from this man who's right in front of you, or attracting a brand new man who's like a million times better for you and ready to commit and wants to give you that love that you really deserve. I just want to say hi to everyone watching. Thank you for letting us know that you can see us. Denise, Lily, Britt, Carrie, Madalena, Kelly, everybody, thank you so much. And if you guys have ever experienced this, please let us know in the chat. We love hearing from you. We know this is a really common thing that women feel, we can get so attached to a man who's only giving us crumbs. I know I've certainly been there, and it's such a painful place to be. And that's where Nicole and I have so much synergy around wanting to turn this around for everyone who's going through this. So Nicole, I love what you said. What's the next way that women can do this and start to turn things around?
Yeah, the fourth point that I was actually going to address, I'm going to make it the second one, because I know that I spoke about a really sensitive topic just now. And the fourth one is actually, the second one is to know you have to be honest and real with yourself. Like, a lot of people avoid that feeling of not feeling good enough because they don't want to feel it. The moment that they feel it, for them, it feels like it's going to become real, right? The feeling of not being good enough. So what that does is that you create this defense mechanism where you kind of lie to yourself. You avoid like a certain feeling and you don't want to admit it. But unless you admit it, it's still there, and you operate from it. So you have to be honest with yourself. I've always shared the experience what happened with me when I had to cut off my hair, and it was pretty, like, I remember that it was like sort of like a do or die moment, right? Like, this is it. This is the moment that I'm going to prove to myself that I am good enough as I am. And I want to give you peace when it comes to this, because everybody is good enough. Everybody is more than amazing. And instead of believing that if you face that feeling, it's gonna make you feel, bad, just have something that connects you with your worth and your truth. You are amazing, even if it's just watching this video and more videos. But you have to be willing to walk that road and just say, I am more than enough. It's not the truth. And you know this, and it's not the truth. You are amazing, and you need to claim that for the whole world to know. This is your relationship with yourself. And the moment in which you start to claim that, you stop being in alignment in attracting emotionally unavailable men, because you're being truthful. You're being available to your feelings and to your emotions. You know how to face them, and you know when a feeling is a lie. The feeling that tells you that you're not good enough, the feeling that tells you that you need to prove your worth, it's not true. So facing it and just walking that talk and just owning that you're amazing will start to align you with men who really see it. And this gets to be your work, where you get to own it every single day and be your best advocator.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. It's like a reflection of how you're feeling about yourself on the inside. Someone was just saying in the chat that, I experienced this, but I think love is more about you than the other person. Absolutely. It sounds like everything is, everyone's really resonating with this. It's something they've experienced. We got a great question. A man shows you how he feels about you by the way he treats you. So if a man treats you badly, let him go. Why do something to get him back? Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. Nicole, I imagine you would too. We did a whole video on how to let go of a man who is only giving you crumbs and breadcrumbing, right? So this is like our mission to help women do this. But I know a lot of times a woman doesn't want to let him go, right? Not at first. Nicole, do you have any tips for a woman? I mean, normally they get there eventually. They kind of get burned that one last time, right? Or they get their heart broken one last time. Then they're finally ready. But a lot of women are not there yet. They still feel strongly attached to this man who's just kind of maybe doing enough to keep her there, but not doing enough to really make her happy or fully commit himself to the relationship. So do you have any tips for a woman in that situation?
It's so funny. It's like you addressed the third point.
Oh, good.
That's the third point, because you haven't really, when a woman finds herself like still craving that, whether it's that validation or she's trying to change him or she's trying to get something there, you haven't healed your relationship with your inner child, and it's showing up as you date. So this is really important, because it normally, what I have seen is that it reflects patterns of abandonment that they felt like when they were growing up, with their parents. So they repeat the unconscious pattern of like, oh, let me prove to him that I'm good, or let me do this, or let me just stay with it, or even operating from a belief that you're not going to find anyone better or somebody that's going to treat you right. So you have to be honest with yourself, with what you're doing, and know that you're lovable, know that you're more than enough. And it's something that you need to understand, not just at a mental level, like at a mind level. You need to like just put your hand in your heart right now and just repeat that to yourself. Like, I am more than enough. Like, I'm more willing to go for me than to go for another person first. Like, I need to be my best advocator. I'm going to love me first. Like somebody said, I don't know the person's name, but they said it's like love it reflects first and foremost your relationship with you. So you want to have a stellar relationship where you are always advocating for you. That puts you in more alignment with a man that will actually choose you and is emotionally available. A lot of men who feel like they're who are emotionally unavailable, they're not even rooting for themselves. They don't think that they're worthy. They tell you, I'm not the guy for you, like I'm not ready for this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And in many ways, you're not advocating for yourself as well, because you're trying to stay with somebody who's telling you that they're not ready to give you love. So you have to go inward and choose you. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I always say it's about putting yourself and what you truly want for yourself kind of like ahead of any one particular man. Someone just asked a great question about what to do if you're fantasizing about the good parts of a relationship with a man who is breadcrumbing or doing some of these things. And it's kind of preventing you from moving on or blocking you from opening up to different men. And what I have to say is kind of watch his behavior, watch what he's doing on a consistent basis. If his words and his behavior is not matching up, I would say watch his actions. Is he still there? Is he even still there, showing up in your life anymore or not? Often the answer is no. These men aren't showing up in any sort of consistent way, but we stay attached to them because we feel like our feelings for them are kind of like rare and special, especially if you're not attracted to that many men. I know the tendency to want to stay attached to a man energetically or emotionally, even if he's not really doing anything, he's not really stepping up or moving anything forward or doing what he's supposed to do in the relationship. So I'd say watch his actions and see how you feel based on what he's doing. Watch what he does and see how he makes you feel. If he's treating you amazing and he's really consistent and making you feel really secure and safe in the relationship, that's fantastic. If he stops doing those things, or if he was really never doing them to begin with, and it doesn't feel good to you, that's something to take a look at. Your feelings are always an indicator that things are going well, this is a good situation, or something's a little off and you might need to make some adjustments or, like evaluate if this is a good relationship to be in, right, Nicole?
Yeah, I love everything that you said. You have to be honest and real with yourself. Like that is the road to being emotionally available to yourself and to your own truth. And being willing to know that if you have to walk that road, you do that for you, right? Because I've seen that men don't want to be pushed. Like men don't want to be pushed to do something that they're not ready to do for. Like they stand for freedom. freedom of choice. That's masculine energy. So if they're telling you that they need to work on themselves in the moment, or that they can't give you more than that, it's important to be able to listen to that. Like, let a man come to you that is actually ready. For the person who made that question, I would ask you, like, but what is it that brings up those fantasies to the surface? Is it the belief that you're not going to meet somebody else, or that you really like him, that you don't want to let it go? And ask yourself, like, what are you actually letting go of by staying in a relationship with somebody that's not fully choosing you? And then you can have a big conversation with yourself there. It's important. I don't know if this person has talked to the guy, and has communicated what she's observing. But if you are communicating and the person is still not doing anything, then it's important that you choose you. You send love and you blessings to the other person, but you need to choose you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm just reading these comments. Sounds like everyone can really relate to this topic. Kelly says, yes, very frustrating. We hold on to the potential of a relationship instead of the reality. Yeah, that's where I say you place all this meaning on all these strong, intense feelings you have for this man. And, sometimes these intense feelings, they get stirred up in us when we're with a man who kind of fits right into our old relationship patterns, or perhaps what love felt like to us earlier in life. Like, that comes from like our caretakers and our parents. We can like feel these intense highs and lows, these really strong feelings, and that feels like true love to us. Often we equate love with these highs and lows, or having to work hard to like win a man's love. I can certainly relate to that myself. So what I would say is your intense, sometimes obsessive feelings for a man, or about, the potential of the relationship, do not equal true love, even though they create this intense high, kind of addictive high. Someone said, yes, it's like an addiction in the chat earlier. It might feel like love to you, but it's not true love. It's this old pattern you're playing out. I have so much to say about this. It's your subconscious mind basically creating this spark of attraction with the kind of man that feels familiar to you, with the kind of man who fits into this old relationship pattern of what love felt like to you, perhaps earlier in life. So if you can kind of not place so much meaning on that, like, well, this is my soulmate or my twin flame, and kind of take some meaning out, just say, this is just my subconscious mind creating this framework of attraction because this man feels familiar to me. This feels safe. And, your subconscious mind is so committed to homeostasis and survival. It doesn't make judgments about what's good for you and what's bad for you. Your prefrontal cortex is what makes those kinds of decisions, but your subconscious doesn't do that. Your subconscious just is so concerned with keeping you safe and pulling you towards what feels familiar. So if that's helpful for any of you, just to kind of separate some meaning, like don't place so much meaning on these intense feelings you have with a man, because I know that they can be addictive and lead to obsessing and overanalyzing. So, right, Nicole, have you ever experienced that?
If I have experienced that, I liked the guy for 10 years. And he wasn't into me, so I exactly know what that is like. It's so funny that you addressed that, and it's good that I can laugh about it now. I wanted to address something about this. A shift here is important. I'm a big fan of gratitude. And the fact that you are attracting this sort of man in your life, the fact that you're attracting this sort of man, and you're noticing these feelings that they can be kind of like obsessive sometimes, and you're not having a hard time letting it go. You know what? I invite you to be grateful for them, because the moment you can be grateful for them is that you're seeing, wow, the universe is really loving me right now. How so? Because it's helping me see what was getting in the way of me attracting the love that's good for me. So, I'm excited that I can notice all these things, and I can be on board with the universe, and I can joyfully work on them, rather than suffering because of the strong high that you're feeling. Because I'm sure that all the ladies that are commenting and that are agreeing with it can resonate that you're kind of suffering when you're feeling like this high in regards to a man, and you're like, oh, but if only, and you're kind of suffering. So instead of suffering, having a reframe of being like, wow, the universe has my back. It's showing me the exact thing that I needed to see so that I can actually work on it. Then it makes me happy. It makes me feel empowered. I can research more about this. I can reach out, like I can read more about this, and I can take myself on, and I can make myself available for the man that is ready for me. Because when you're suffering in this state, you're still looking at it from the personality, the part of you that's in suffering, and then you're starting to doubt if you're going to meet another man that's going to meet you. But it's not the truth. It's the universe or your mind teaching you, like, hey, I know you want love. I'm looking at all your efforts. Now, please remove this. So it's important to not become that. Like, you can observe it so that you can actually be grateful and start working on it. It will stop suffering, and it's going to be great.
I so agree with you. Gosh, we have so much to say on this. This is why we keep making videos on this topic, because it's just such a common thing. I just want to say hi to everybody here. Mary says, funny, I've been chanting, I'm more than enough this week. I love that. Tiffany says, life is too short to be chasing after a man who won't meet you halfway. A lot of people asking how to let go of a man like this. We actually recorded a video called How to Let Go of a Man Who's Ghosting, Emotionally Unavailable, and Breadcrumbing You. So I can post a link to that later in the description, or go check that out. Great questions, you guys. Someone said, there was another one I wanted to address. Something about your, let me just find it because it was good. You said listen to your feelings, but don't follow intense feelings. And that was confusing. So I really wanted to clarify. So your feelings about the man can be these intense, sometimes obsessive feelings. So forget about your feelings for the man right now. How do you feel about yourself in this man's presence, right? How do you feel about yourself, both when you're with him and when he's not right in front of you? A lot of women say, like, well, when we're together, it feels really good and the chemistry's off the charts. But then when I don't hear from him for, a week, or when he tells me he's not ready, that feels terrible, and I feel insecure and my self-esteem goes down. So for a second, forget about your strong feelings for him. How do you feel about yourself when you're with this man? And when I say watch what he does and see how that makes you feel, it's kind of taking your focus off of him and putting it on yourself and your own life and your own feelings. And that can help clear your perception a little bit and start to see this man and this situation for what it really is. Nicole, do you agree?
Yeah, for sure. And many times, like you said, the habit of choosing somebody over you, it can even come back from like your childhood, where you were choosing somebody else's love before you. You felt like maybe you needed your mom's love, your dad's love, and you weren't getting it. So it's important to have the right awareness and come back to yourself and remind your mind, like, hey, this is not the same situation. Thank you so much for showing me the pain that I had about the situation. And now I get to be that woman for myself. Like, I get to really support myself or be the mother of my inner child, however you want to look at it, and choose yourself. Many people believe that if they're going to choose themselves, it's going to be a dark road. Like, you're not going to meet anyone else. That's what the mind will have you believe, because it's like you said, it's a survival pattern. So, but you can make a list of all the people that you know that are happy in relationships, or people that you see like in Hollywood or books or celebrities or scientists, like whatever you follow. You got to understand, and you will start to see that everybody has like their own hero's journey, right? And that is what makes you feel satisfied. And you see, like, the more I am authentic to myself, the more I'm authentic to my heart, the more I am met with love. And that is what I believe, that gratitude is so important. The moment you can shift into gratitude, I personally see it as like separating yourself from the identity in you that was suffering or that felt that wasn't going to get love. And like, you're joining the universe knowing, like, hey, like, law of attraction, like, life has my back. And you move into a different energy, into a different space, and you start to attract with your own unique power. A lot of people, like, feminine energy for me is so powerful. And I really do believe that when we are in our feminine energy and we are clear about what we want, we attract it. And in order to master that aspect of feminine energy, you need to have radical trust, not just in yourself, but also in the universe. So the more you're like, okay, life has my back, and you can start to affirm things like, I deserve a man that chooses me now. I am supported to have love. And you repeat that over and over again, you will start to see signs of that. And that's going to help you trust your own power rather than feel victimized or hurt to a point where you can't trust anymore. And that makes you emotionally unavailable to yourself, to your own power. So the more you can just affirm things for yourself, the more you can just also trust the universe, trust life, then you will be in the right path. It's important to affirm and move forward, and just let yourself have it. Like it's going to be great.
I love that. I love everything you're saying. It sounds like everyone is really, this is resonating with everyone. Tiffany said, I changed my energy and attracted the right kind of man, wrote down a list of things I would not tolerate and what I wanted, and then communicating that to my partner. If they don't go for it, they're not for me. That's amazing. I love hearing that. Someone else said, intensity does not equal love. Usually it's all about drama, addiction, replaying old patterns from childhood. I agree with you. A lot of times it is that. It's like we equate love with something. We learn what love is or feels like earlier in life. And the sad part is we kind of forget that we do that. And then we just kind of go through life in this choreography, sort of handing people a script of how to treat us. I certainly did this myself. And it just plays out relationship after relationship until you kind of become conscious of it and turn it around. We don't have time for everyone's questions today, but one common question I keep seeing coming up in the chat is, okay, what do we do when everything you just said so beautifully, Nicole, they are putting themselves out there and they just haven't met that right man yet. And they've been maybe dating, single and dating for a while, and the kind of emotionally available, commitment ready man that they want is not showing up in their experience yet. I know, Nicole, we did a video, I'll be publishing it soon, on how to be patient in your love life. Very important. So you're a total expert on this topic. I see you like smiling over there. It's so funny, because patience is something that's hard for me personally, and I know for so many of us. So Nicole, what would you have to say for people who are having a hard time because they've let go of the man, or they're wanting to let go of the emotionally unavailable man, and during that gap of time when no good men are showing up, what would you have a woman do?
Okay, that's powerful. The first thing that I would have you do is to look at what you're saying to yourself. Because if you're going back into stories of like, it's not going to happen, like I've done this for X amount of time and I'm not seeing it, and you start to doubt that you're going to have love, then you're going back into that belief in your mind, or that personality, that inner child that feels that she's not lovable or that she won't be loved. So you have to become conscious of that. You know, life has a funny way of doing things. Who knows if your man is ready right now, right? And then the moment you start to slip into this space where you're like, is he gonna come? Is he not gonna come? There's always this example that I've used, like when you're gonna order a burger at a restaurant, like you know that it's gonna come, right? And you're not worried. You're not constantly looking back to see if it's gonna come. I invite you to not judge your process and to fall in love with it. Sometimes there are certain belief systems that you need to really look at, that could be potentially showing up or like affecting what's going on. But then that's up to you to really be conscious of it and study yourself and be willing to release and make yourself like be in alignment. The moment you start to judge it or everything, you are disconnecting yourself from trusting the universe fully. So the more you can fall in love with your own journey, like I said, it's your own hero's journey. Be happy, be grateful for what is available for you. You can even work with somebody. And the reason why I say this is because one of the major beliefs that I've seen for a lot of women, and this was actually the last point that I wanted to say, is when women have trust issues based on what they saw growing up, subconsciously or unconsciously, they choose like, you know what, I don't want love. Love isn't safe. And then consciously, you're doing all this effort to find out to meet the person, but it's not happening. So the more you can actually go inward and work on yourself, but from a place of love and gratitude that you're healing this for yourself, that you're going to have the greatest love possible, then you do it with gratitude, you do it with excitement. And I promise you that it's going to happen. This is where you get to trust your own power and own it and fall in love with your journey. It's yours. It's yours for you, like it's important to really cultivate that for yourself.
That is so beautiful. I would just get so lost in everything you say, Nicole. The way you put everything is just so perfect and applicable. Would you mind recapping these 4 points? And I know we're a little short on time, about to do a live stream over on the Commitment Connection channel. Although Nicole and I will also be doing probably a more in-depth live stream over on that channel 1 week from today, right?
Yes.
Is that right? Do I have that right? Yeah, on the 18th, I believe. So yeah, we're really excited for that, or the 16th, I guess it is. So everyone go check us out over there next week. And Nicole, you also have a free gift for everyone. So if you can recap these 4 points and let everyone know about your free gift, I'll make sure to post a link to that once I publish this.
Totally. So the first point is that deep down, subconsciously, you are seeking for approval, or you're trying to prove your worth. There's many ways in which you're doing this, but the fact is that you're not fully feeling satisfied with yourself. Therefore, you attract people who are not choosing you, who can't see you, and who activate that feeling in you. The second one is that you have trust issues based on what you saw on your past, and you're like, well, if that happened, then I want to protect myself from that. And you keep in this energy of protecting yourself, not opening up your heart. Men don't feel you, therefore you attract emotionally unavailable men. The third one is that you haven't really healed your inner child dynamic, and that inner child is showing up in dating. You're showing up feeling fearful or scared, or not showing up in a full like woman energy where you're fully trusting yourself and having that confidence. And then you attract men who are feeling a little bit insecure as well. Then the fourth one is that you're denying the truth to yourself about these feelings, and you're like shoving them down. You don't want to face them, but you're being unavailable to your feelings and like ending those sort of conversations about not being good enough, etc. Do you want to like have that power, have that strength, and just deal with those conversations and walk that path, whether that is by yourself, by working with a coach, having like therapy, like whatever, but just really owning that and becoming available for yourself. Those are the 4 steps. We will be talking about it more in depth next week, and I'm excited to talk about it over the Commitment Connection channel. And I do have a gift. It's a gift for the woman who wants to attract the love that's right for her from her power. It's a meditation that I love, that I recently created for women who want to be in their power and attract love from that space, letting go of all the belief systems that says that I can't have it. So it's a really powerful gift, and I'll be sharing the link with you after this.
Amazing. Yeah, and I'll be sure to post everything in the description right below this video. And just for everyone watching, just know that you just so deserve the love you desire. If you can put what you want ahead of your feelings for this one particular man who is hot and cold, or breadcrumbing, or pulling away, or emotionally unavailable. If you can put what you truly want for yourself, kind of zoom out a little bit and get a bigger view ahead of your feelings for this one particular man, that's when everything really starts to shift. So thank you so much for showing up. Sorry we're a little short on time today, but we will catch you next week over on the Commitment Connection channel. Nicole will be live with me there again. We're going to be going much more in depth into some of these concepts. So thank you so much, Nicole. This was amazing. Thank you so much for wanting to like share your brand new information with me here on this channel. That was so powerful. And I hope to talk with you again soon.
Thank you so much.